Hello everybody, it is Santosh and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be doing another book review. So a lot of you guys have been telling me to do a review on the book known as The Green Armchair by Lee Fong Ho. So today that will be the book we are going to review. Let's begin. So this story is about a person called Sophie who is a Cambodian dancer, and she has learned a great deal about the heritage from her grandmother. Her grandmother had also taught her about Cambodian dancing and different gestures. When she's older, she goes to America to study. One day, Sophie receives a letter saying that her grandmother has passed away. She was in immense grief as she was unable to see her grandmother as she was abroad, and she had no possessions of her to remember her by. This shows us that the main conflict is between Sophie and her deceased grandmother. She goes to a green leather armchair and sits down and sadly thinks about the memories she had with her grandmother. Sophie also happens to have a friend called Tom who was with her in the house. When Tom, in empathy, tries to make Sophie feel better by telling her that her grandmother isn't gone because her memory will still be kept alive, Sophie thinks that Tom doesn't understand how she feels because Tom has his family all living together in the same room, so there will still be things to remember a dead family member by if something tragic were to happen. Tom holds Sophie's palm in her hair and does a gesture known as the Kabaj Sum look whatever, and he tells her that although her grandmother is dead, she has passed down what she knew to Sophie. This allows Sophie to realize that she is carrying on the legacy and heritage that the grandmother has taught her. So I think that this story is incredibly emotional. The author uses a lot of interesting and unique language to convey the conflict between Sophie and her dead grandmother. One of the good examples is when the writer narrates her grandmother will not be visiting them in New York, not this spring or summer or any other time, not now, not ever, never. This is a unique way to describe the death of someone. I like how the author plays with words like this. Another example is when Sophie says, "What has been passed on to me is harder than any hardware, softer than any software." My opinion is that this phrase tells us that the heritage and legacy passed down to Sophie is very special and cannot be copied or duplicated in any form. How the author makes this description is very distinctive. Another part of the story that I find unique is when Sophie has a peculiar interaction with her grandmother when she tries to dance. That part shows how Sophie imagined that her grandmother was there and she was like helping Sophie with her dance by like spreading back her shoulder blades so like she could move correctly. This unique feature in the story is that it's a little eccentric, but it plays a good role in showing us how the conflict in the relationship is resolved. In my opinion, I feel the story is overall quite interesting and it keeps the reader engaged, but there are some parts that give my mind some cliches, yeah. One example is when Sophie sings, "When the candle is melted away, the flame is passed on." That's all. This simile is charming, but it gives me some deja vu because I've seen some quotes revolving around this type of similes in other books. So it's quite familiar to see this. It's not original or something like that. But on the contrary, one metaphor that I particularly find peculiar yet interesting is when Tom says, even better, it's shareware. The metaphor shareware is a very uncommon yet interesting one. I like the fact that the author has used this word. It will probably imply the freedom to pass on ideas, knowledge, and heritage from one individual to another, just like Sophie's grandmother has done for her. So I really enjoyed this story, and I will probably just give it a 7 out of 10. I would definitely recommend this book to people who like enjoy this type of dramatic and these stories that are like full of tension, a lot of conflict going on between the relationship. So if you want to read it, you can find it at the school library or any library that's around you. So thank you for watching the video, and goodbye.